Yes, Revised Common Lectionary. Thank you. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? While some forgetful person is up talking, you can figure out what he's talking about.
That's right.
By connecting with the internet. Amazing. If you know how to connect with the internet.
Yeah, I got internet on my phone. And the whole book is in there.
My son-in-law, by the way, this weekend in Dallas, or in Fort Worth, put last Sunday's lesson on the website.
Really?
I don't know what the connection is. I mean, how you get to it, but you can find last Sunday's lesson on the website.
On his church's
I can't, but maybe you can. Huh?
Is it on his church's website?
I don't know what it's on. He just said it's on the internet now. So I want you to know you are on the internet. You're on the internet.
Oh boy.
By the way, it's interesting. This little bitty thing picks up your questions very well and your comments. So when this on this video, and we have a CD or DVD of every one of our last several weeks, I can hear your comments and who you are. I can tell who it is. I got a copy of it. Anyway, let's go back to this. While the Hebrews, the Israelites, by that time they're called the Israelites, are in captivity in Babylon. Do you know when that was? You remember the dates, don't you? when they were in Babylon?
I think I was there.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. 597 BC, the first defeat of Jerusalem and Israel by the king of Babylon and the Babylonian Empire. 10 years later, because they didn't learn their lesson, the Babylonians came back to Israel and defeated Israel totally. They laid siege to the city of Jerusalem, and you can read about this in the prophecies of Isaiah and Jeremiah. It was a terrible time in Jerusalem's history. The city was defeated and destroyed. The temple was dismantled. They didn't just destroy the city. They dismantled the temple. They took it apart, stone by stone, and scattered the stone so it wouldn't rise again. They plowed the ground that was Jerusalem and salted the earth. Why? What does that mean? Nothing will grow there, at least for a while. They were determined that Israel was not going to come back. That they had had enough up to here of these rebellious Israelites. What happened in 70 A.D.? A few centuries later.
That's when the Romans did it.
The Romans had had it up to here with those rebellious Israelites. And they marched into Jerusalem and destroyed the city and plowed the ground and salted it with salt, because they were sick and tired of the Israelites too. And they scattered the Israelites all over the Roman Empire. And they were never brought back together until, you remember this date. 1948. They were allowed to go back to Jerusalem. And we've had trouble ever since. But anyway, while they were in captivity in Babylon, about the only thing they were allowed to save from their religion, from the temple, were the scrolls of the Torah. And they did manage to take those to Babylon with them. They had no worship place in Babylon, so what are they going to do with them? They were in captivity. They had no temple. The Babylonian army took everything out of the temple, and the king took all those golden accoutrements of the temple back to his palace. And he used them himself. These are holy items in the temple. They have been for centuries. And the king of Babylon took them to his household. They were made of gold, many of them. And he used them for common things, desecration. While they're in Babylon, the rabbis began to fear that the love for the law is going to die. We've got to do something about this situation. And so they began to hold classes in homes for small groups. And in those classes, the rabbis began to teach the Torah, the law, so that future generations of the Hebrews, the Israelites, would not forget God, would not forget the law, and certainly would not lose that deep love for the law that marks Judaism. That's the beginning of the synagogue movement. Synagogue means a place of teaching, or it just means the teaching. When they came back to Jerusalem after 50 years in exile and rebuilt the temple in the city and so forth, they brought the synagogue with them. And in Jesus, even though they rebuilt the temple in Jerusalem, they continued the teachings in the synagogues. So if in any town there were at least 10 Jewish males, they could have a synagogue. So that movement became extremely important in the history of the Hebrews, the Jews. By the way, it was in Babylon during that cruel exile that they were called Jews. They were the people from the nation of Judah, or in Jesus' day, the Greek word Judea. And the Babylonians, in ridiculing their captives, began to call them Jews. Can you say that without almost feeling like there's a sneer on your lips? That word just almost brings a sneer just to say it. Even today, the Jews. That's how they got that name during the exile, and it stuck. And so forever after, since about 550 BC, they've been known as the Jews. And that word has been used in a lot of different ways. But I found this book, and I'm fascinated by it. It's got lectionary and devotional readings for the whole year in the first half of the Bible. I think that's why it's called a Mosaic Bible. A mosaic is a great picture that shows probably many things. So I'm fascinated by this, and it's in such good condition, like somebody bought it and never read it. Imagine that. So those are two new books that I've got. This one, I am just enjoying this. I'm just fascinated by this. It's got a lot. It's just page after page of the ancient stories by the Hebrew rabbis. We are going to the Library of the Antiquities tomorrow evening. Is Carol here?
Yep.
There she is, hiding over there in the corner. Our golfing buddy, Carol. She has put this together. We got, what, 20 going now? We're taking the church bus tomorrow night. It won't haul 20, but it'll haul 18 or 19. We are going to leave here by 5 o'clock, earlier if possible, because we're going first to Sweet Basil. How many of you have gone to Sweet Basil? Oh, yeah. Eileen and I used to go up there at least once a month when she was at WSU. Slip into Sweet Basil for lunch. They have a buffet at lunch, but they don't have a buffet in the evening. So you'll have to order from the menu. That's on your own. You can order whatever you'd like. Just be careful with the wine list. Sweet Basil is pretty close to the campus, so we'll leave there after we eat and go over to the campus. We're supposed to be there by 7 o'clock, and Rabbi Lorraine Madway is going to meet us and give us a tour of the Library of the Antiquities. I think that'll be fascinating.
Yeah,
At
I'm interested to
WSU.
see what kind of old
So
texts and books they have.
that's one of the things that Eileen and I have talked about, that we think we should try to do about once a month, take the bus for anybody that wants to go and find new places to eat. Doesn't that sound wonderful?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. So we're going to start at Sweet Basil tomorrow night.
Your next trip, you ought to try Ed Astor up in Strong City.
Oh,
Very good.
all the way up to Strong City. We'd have to have a snack to get there.
That's only open 3 days a week, though.
Yes, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
One other announcement Eileen wants me to make. We got home last night about 9:15, and she tried, I think, to get this on the email and send it out to all the folks on our email list that have been with us on bus trips. I don't know whether it went through last night or not. She had some problems with it, and after about an hour of wrestling with it, she threw the computer against the wall and But we have, she and Marlene last week got pretty well got the itinerary finalized for our Nashville trip. And last week I talked with Sarah Wilkie. I don't know if you know this, remember this, but Sarah Wilkie, Paul's older sister, is the editor now of the Upper Room Devotional Guide. And so we talked to her last week, and she has assigned a person from her office to be our liaison, I guess is the word, for this trip. So
So when is this trip?
it's October the 14th, that's a Monday morning. October the 14th, we'll be back Saturday evening, the 19th. 6 days. Eileen found in their big brochures at Village that they are doing a tour to Nashville in October. And so she kind of copied some of that. We will go from here to Springfield on Monday. We will stop at Bass Pro. Some of the guys that have been going to Branson with us have asked, sometimes could we stop at Bass Pro? So we're going to stop at Bass Pro and have lunch. They have a really nice restaurant upstairs at Bass Pro. And we will spend a couple of hours there, shop about an hour, and eat about an hour. And that ought to replenish us from an hour shopping. Huh?
Is that a 2-hour stop or
It's a
what?
2-hour stop. 2-hour stop. We will leave around 2 o'clock or 2:15 or whatever. We'll go on to Sikeston, Missouri for the night. That's over in eastern Missouri. Tuesday morning early, we will leave Sikeston. We're going to go through Cairo. We want you to see Cairo. You have heard about Cairo, as they call it, but I think it should be Cairo. It's got an I in it. Cairo is K-A-R-O. Cairo is C-A-I-R.
How do you spell Arkansas?
It starts with an A. We'll go through Paducah that morning and on into Nashville. I don't know what all she's got. I haven't seen Tuesday afternoon, but Tuesday evening we'll be at the Grand Ole Opry. They only have shows Tuesday and Friday, and we won't be there on Friday. Wednesday morning, we're talking with the staff at Upper Room about worshiping with them. They have a worship service every Wednesday morning for the Upper Room staff and the Board of Discipleship staff and other boards that are close by the Upper Room. United Methodist boards, national boards in Nashville, meet at the Upper Room at 8:30 on Wednesday mornings for worship. We'll join them, but I'm not sure that there's enough room. We're anticipating close to 50 on our bus, if not 50. We'll have a bus that seats 56, I think. So if we have 50, I'm not sure there's room for all of their staff members and our 50. But we will tour the upper room on Wednesday morning and other Methodist sites in the area. It's right across the street from, used to be Scarrett College, which was first, I think, a women's college. And it went under, and the United Methodist Women bought the campus, and it's now a conference center in Nashville. It's right across the street from all of these Methodist places. We'll also tour Cokesbury, our publishing house in Nashville. It's also, Scarrett also is all just basically right across the street from Vanderbilt University, which is one of our great Methodist schools. And so you'll get to walk around the campus a little bit if you'd like, because it's a gorgeous campus. We'll tour some Methodist sites and see some of our history and some of our way things are done with the Methodist, and we'll have some tour guides for that on Wednesday. Wednesday at noon we will be on the General Jackson's showboat on the Cumberland River. I had said once the Tennessee, but it's the Cumberland River. That's about a 2.5 hour tour up the river and back, and there's a dinner, lunch, and a show on the General Jackson. It's an old riverboat showboat. I don't know what else is scheduled for Wednesday. She's got the itinerary, and I've not really studied it well. Thursday we will see 2 or 3 different things, including either the Belle Meade Plantation, which is an old southern plantation, or we'll be out at the Hermitage, Andrew Jackson's home. I don't think his presidential library is there. I don't think he even has one, presidential library. That was before they built libraries for presidents. Presidents didn't read a lot back then, I guess, so didn't need a library.
What did you say the dates were?
October 14 through 19.
Is there a K-State game on the 14th in Manhattan?
No, the 14th is a Monday. The 19th,
I meant the 19th.
I think they're out of town.
Oh, I hope so.
Let's see, they play the
I'd be
30th.
real disappointed in
7th.
Eileen if she didn't check before she said it.
I'm sure, I don't know, I have to go back and look. I'll have to look. I don't remember.
Have you been to the Grand Ole Opry before?
Yes.
What's the significance of their speed limit being 24 miles per hour?
I don't know. I don't know.
24 miles per hour through Opry.
Must be a story behind that. We'll have to find out what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what all we're doing on Thursday. She's got that list, and it'll be on the email. Friday morning, we probably will not, I'm assuming, we probably will not get to worship on Wednesday morning with the staff. What I would really like to do is have worship service for us, for our busload, in the upper room, and probably we'll do that on Friday morning at 8:30. We will have a short worship service, probably 30 to 45 minutes, including Holy Communion. And then leave Nashville and start home. We'll probably spend the night in Little Rock, or just west of Little Rock, we think, on the way home. But we're going to stop Friday early afternoon at a place in Memphis called Graceland.
Oh.
We're going to eat at a little restaurant.
Named Elvis? Is the restaurant named
No,
Elvis?
no, but you'll love it. It's I think it's called the Pink Pig.
I think there's Memphis barbecue.
Yes, it's got this huge pink pig statue out in front of the restaurant. It's a local joint, and this guy was a very close friend of Elvis's.
And they serve chicken, right?
Huh?
And they serve chicken.
I don't know what they serve, but, well, I do know what they serve. And Elvis used to eat there. It's right down the street from Graceland. And, but it is really good homemade, or down-home cooking. And he has all of this Elvis memorabilia all over the restaurant. And they play nothing but Elvis songs while
You'll be
you
in
eat.
seventh heaven.
I will be. We found that a couple of years ago. It's marvelous. So we're going to try to eat lunch there and then go up to Graceland for the tour. And anybody that wants to take the tour, this included in the price. Anybody that wants to take the tour, get on the bus and go over and tour the mansion and the grounds.
You're not stopping by Crystal's?
While you're touring the grounds, I may be down at Crystal Burger.
Now, what's the Crystal Burger?
Oh, it's the best little burgers in the world. Eileen and I have a running argument. She thinks the best little burgers in the world were made at Cozy Inn in Salina. How many of you been to Cozy Inn? Crystal is a cleaned up Cozy Inn, okay?
They can't be as good.
They're not quite as greasy, that's for sure.
How much is this trip?
$600.
That's pretty good.
That includes 6 meals. That includes the hotels. That includes the bus fare. That includes all of your entry fees, whatever. What that's called. I guess entry fees. To the General Jackson and the Opry and all of those places.
Vic, are you guys going to the Lion Hotel?
I don't know.
You should, if you've got the time, take them there. That,
In Memphis?
yeah.
Well, of course, there are some things we can't do. But,
But even if you were to
can't
just
squeeze it all.
drive by there to see it, it's
We also think that we ought to put together, of course Eileen's kind of slow to come along. We think we ought to put together a trip to St. Louis. That trip would also include, we hope, a riverboat cruise from Hannibal, possibly all the way down to Cape Girardeau.
Great.
Wouldn't that want to be one? Oh, yes. We could do that. And we're also looking at putting together a week-long trip to San Antonio. And so we've
Did
been,
you hear, Mom? She wants to know where you sign up. She's ready to go.
well, my mom is too. She's already assured us she's going, and she's got 6 friends that want to go with us.
Can I add on another trip?
To Nashville.
I'm taking a trip to Tanzania in February. Anybody wants
Yeah,
to
anybody
go?
wants to sign up? It's only, what, 1,800 or
25.
2,500? Oh, it's gone up. Inflation.
We're going to Angel House. So if anybody's interested,
Yes.
Yes.
So if you really want to go to Angel House, if you want to go to Africa, Tanzania, see this lady right over here? Silver-haired tour guide.
No competition.
No. So that is coming up, and if you're interested in going, you need to contact Eileen and get your name on the list. And we need to check that game thing. I have their schedule. I think I have it in my car. Of course I have their schedule. I have about a half a dozen of them all over my house and in my cars, wherever I need to.
You don't have it on your phone.
I just don't have it on my phone. I don't have one of those phones. I don't like machines that are a lot smarter than I am.
Can I see
And I left my
that?
Bible. I'll use this one.
Behind you, I think.
I'll use this one this morning. I left my other Bible in the office.
What's that behind you?
That's hymn now. And there's a little Bible there, but I don't like that translation.
That's on the other hip.
Okay. Bob had his procedure this week. So look out for Bob. He's on the hunt for blood.
I lost a pint.
Yeah.
I gotta put it back tomorrow though.
They are. What did they do with that?
They sent it to a lab.
A whole pint of it?
Yeah, they take out the red cells. They treat the white cells with something to fight the cancer in the prostate. And then they put it back in takes about 30 minutes to put it in. It took 3 hours to take it out. And then they put the Provenge in tomorrow also. It takes about an hour for that. Then I have to wait a half an hour to see if I have any reactions.
Yeah.
No reaction.
Where do you do this?
What?
Where do you do this?
Get it put back in at the Cancer Center of Kansas, right across from St. Francis
St.
Hospital.
Francis.
What day are they doing that?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Is it experimental or it's?
No, it's been out for a little while, and it's another means of fighting the prostate cancer. Another way to do it. They have that treatment, and they have one called Zytiga, and I don't know exactly what that is. If it's injection or
Yeah.
pills or whatever. But anyway, this one is 3 treatments, and I get my first real treatment tomorrow.
Well, I'll tell you, a year ago, you were my role model.
What happened?
Remembering what all you've gone through, that's why I decided to have mine just taken out.
But you want to watch it because it could come back. The cancer could.
Not if you don't have one, it can't come back. Not in your
Yes, it
prostate.
can.
Yes, it can.
Not in your prostate.
No, but it can come back
The
other
cancer
places.
can come back. So
Same cancer can come back.
keep an
other
eye on
places.
it.
They do.
October 12th, Baylor.
Yes.
Okay.
Baylor is at Manhattan on the 12th. That's a Saturday.
Okay, see what's on the 19th. See if it's in town or out of town.
Nothing on, well, this is a home schedule, so.
Nothing on the 19th? I'll call her as soon as I get home. Okay.
So we got that. I better write, she said to write down anybody's name that says I'm going, so I better write that down.
You going? Jack and Marcia.
It's M-A-R-G-E-N-E. S-T-E-V-E-N-S-O-N.
And Jean?
Margie? I don't know, I've got to look at the schedule. But Mark's
Shirley,
got-
hands up, okay.
Yeah, put Rita down too.
Who? Oh, read it.
Saldivars.
Okay.
Was it going up Tuesday? D-O-U-G.
It's J-O-U-G-A, D-O-U.
Just like Red Dove.
I was, we had a Wesleyan pastor named Doty. When I was out at Central Avenue, Western Wichita, he had a little church for 30 years out on West Central, right where 235 goes over Central, just a block west. He had a little church on the corner for 30 years. One day in July, about, I don't know, 2002 or 3, his district superintendent showed up for service that morning. They don't have bishops. But his DS showed up that morning, and at the end of the service, asked to speak to the congregation, and you can't say no to a DS or a bishop. And he announced to the congregation, we're closing this church as of next Sunday.
What church was that?
It was a Wesleyan church, which is part of the Methodist tradition.
Oh, that's not very nice.
No, it wasn't. Pastor Doty was about 87, I think, or something at that
Oh, my
time.
goodness.
Very forgetful, and
So did he show up the next Sunday because he forgot?
well, he showed up because it was the last Sunday for that church,
Oh, God.
and they lived right down the street from Central Avenue, and he and his wife walked down there the next Sunday and started worshiping with us. But it was D-O-W-T-Y, Doty. So when I look at your name, I think, which one is it?
Which one? Bread dough. Think of bread dough. D-O-U-G-H-T-Y.
Yes.
Not money, just dough.
Hey, that's very good, Dale.
Luther was a dandy guy. He was a dear, dear guy.
Vic, I have a space this week.
Okay?
I got my scans back, and I'm still clear. But wait a second. I'm officially 7 years out.
7 years. Great.
Yeah.
That
And
is
I
a
do
joy.
give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
He is the only
Yes.
reason I'm here.
Yes. Yes, do that. Well,
He does.
let's begin with second chapter of Corinthians. 1 Corinthians. Second chapter of 1 Corinthians.
Yeah, I didn't ask if you did.
I'm hanging on tight. Good.
The second chapter. Good thing you drink it all.
In the first chapter, about halfway through the chapter, well, not even halfway, about verse 10, Paul jumps into the problem that exists in Corinth. And what was the problem?
They were quarreling.
Quarreling. Imagine that in the church. There was dissensions among you, he said. And so he addresses that for the rest of the chapter. And what the dissensions tended to be were different factions in the church at Corinth, claiming to follow this pastor or that pastor or this pastor or preacher. Not all of them had been there as pastors in the church. There's a difference between a pastor and a preacher, by the way.
What's the difference?
Well, a pastor does more work with the people. It's like a shepherd and his flock, who this good shepherd who takes the flock out to pasture every day and watches the flock and watches over the flock, protects the flock, provides for the flock, is with the flock every day. A preacher delivers the word.
Doesn't take care of the flock.
That was good. That was very good. Who were you
Where does
speaking
the
of?
minister?
Sal says a preacher talks a lot. Well, I'm glad I'm not a preacher.
Where does the minister fit in? That's just
That's a hybrid word. I would prefer pastor or preacher to minister. That's a word, I don't know where that came from. And I'm not sure what all it means.
And the logo was, the pastor was Pastor Vic, ministers are everyone in the congregation. We are all ministers.
To minister to means to care for, in whatever ways. You minister to, we have caring groups in the church, and they minister to people in that caring group. If they were in the hospital, they may take a meal in. If there's been a death in the family, they may take a meal in.
Well, but certain churches
That's
say, this
minister.
is my minister, meaning
Yeah,
the pastor or preacher. They call that person their minister.
On the IRS forms, or many other forms for that matter, government forms especially, when they ask for occupation, that's what they expect you to put, minister. And that seems so generic to me. I've just not ever liked that. I would prefer to put pastor on that line instead of minister. But that's the official designation in official documents, minister. It means similar things to what a pastor means, but I like the word pastor a lot better. Personal preference. Paul launches into chapter 2 after he's talked about, he asked the Corinthians, what were you? Who were you before you were called by Christ? In verses 24 and to the end of the chapter, those
There's 24
called.
in chapter 2. What chapter are you in?
I'm in chapter 1, end of chapter 1. He launches into, but to those called by God to salvation, both Jews and Gentiles, Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. Verse 26, remember, dear brothers and sisters, that few of you were wise in the world's eyes, or powerful or wealthy when God called you. This applies to the church at Corinth. Who were the people in the church at Corinth? If you read that section at the end of chapter 1, you get the impression that they were a bunch of nobodies.
Wasn't this a seaport town?
Were they
Sailors
fishermen?
and
Probably. Who were the apostles?
fishermen.
But they,
Unlearned,
yeah, I mean, they were just ordinary people.
ordinary people. When they were, after Jesus' death and his resurrection and his ascension 40 days later, after Christ had gone back to heaven, there were numerous times when the disciples were put on trial. And the first few times, if you'll read the book of Acts again, when they're put on trial before the Sanhedrin, the learned men, the judges, the rulers of the people of Jerusalem, of Israel, when they're put on trial there, they're referred to by the Sanhedrin as these unlearned men from Galilee, of all places. Galilee was like the armpit of the Middle East in those days. Or that's the way they were perceived. If you were from Galilee, you were down pretty low. You know, it'd be like being from, I better be careful here. I didn't want to say Arkansas because I'm too close to Ellen, but she's got a big old book over there.
Well, if Eleanor doesn't get you, Larry will.
You know, my dad graduated from Asbury College in northern Kentucky, north central Kentucky, near Lexington, in 1950. And his first church appointment was over in southern Indiana, 40 miles or so straight north of Louisville, Kentucky. We were there only 1 year, but we discovered in southern Indiana, especially in that little town, that Mississippi had a horrible reputation. I don't know what they thought. One of the women, and Dad had 4 small churches in that appointment. One of the women in one of the churches asked Mother one time, "Is it true that girls in Mississippi don't get their first pair of shoes until they're 14 and they're getting married?" That was their image of Mississippi.
Wow.
And what was the answer?
No, it's 15. Arkansas wants to know what the answer is.
We got him at 12.
We used to tell people in Mississippi, we love Arkansas.
This
We
is going
love-
on the internet now.
We-
You better be
We
ready.
love Arkansas because that means that Mississippi's not dead last in everything.
This one on the internet.
Just note what the scripture says about those that are lesser and who.
I don't know why I'm sweating.
There's a lightning bolt over there.
But these Christians were looked down upon by most of the upper crust in those early days, and especially through the first century. The church began, Christ was crucified 30 or 33, whichever figure you like to look at. Most people say in 30 AD. Ascended to heaven within about 6 weeks, 40 days. And so the church began in about 30, 32, 3 BC, AD. Paul was writing to the Corinthians in the late 50s. He had started several churches, including Corinth, by the late 50s. He has a thriving church in Ephesus. For the next 200 years, Christians were looked down upon by the learned people of the world in the Roman Empire, by the powerful people, the emperors and the leaders of countries and provinces. They were looked down upon as almost the scum of the earth. Unlearned people, artisans, hardworking people, like the fishermen who were called as disciples. You can go back into some of the ancient writings of that period, some of the reports that were sent from various parts of the empire to the emperor or to the governors of those provinces, and read what they thought of those early Christians. They were worms. They just had no respect for them. What is the church? Who does the church attract? What's the church for? One of our reasons for looking at the book of 1 Corinthians is to use that to look at the church today. What is the church today? Is it all the upper crust?
Not at all, but there is a lot of upper crust in the church.
And that was true in these days, in the early days of the first decades of the church, in the mid-first century. It didn't attract just the lower class, the working class, the unlearned. And remember, if you were not in an upper level of society, you probably didn't get much of an education. If you were a Jewish male, you had been educated in the studies of the law from your childhood. At least for the first 12 or 13 or 14 years, you went to probably some rabbinical school. The rabbi taught you the law. But he taught you the Jewish law. Not all of the things that we teach in school today. Their education was of the Jewish traditions and the Jewish law. When you go to, if you go to Catholic schools in our society today, for the first 6 years, or elementary school we'd call it, what is one of the basic reasons they want all of their children in a Catholic school? To learn the catechism, to learn the Catholic way, to learn how to worship in the Catholic Church. You get indoctrinated in that. And most churches, Lutheran churches and Episcopal, all of the churches that are big on having their own schools, that's one of the main reasons, is to teach you their part of the faith and how to live that faith. Well, that's what the Jewish schools were for. So you didn't get a lot about worldly philosophy and math and science and all the stuff that we teach today. Today, in our society, what are we doing? We're throwing out more and more of the religious references even. We don't even teach religious classes in school. It's illegal to teach religious classes in public schools. Some schools are still teaching the Bible, but not as a book of the faith, but as literature. So,
aren't they even throwing out some of our early American history? The basics.
Well, they're
of where our
rewriting
country
it.
was
Yes,
founded.
they're rewriting it.
Yeah, they're starting now. I think they're starting more Civil War era. Just kind of like, oh, it doesn't matter why we were founded.
If you study some of the revolutions, even in the 20th century, communist revolution in Russia, for instance, the Nazi takeover of Germany, Mussolini in Italy, fascism. What's one of the first things they do?
Take away the church.
They want to devalue the church, or depower the church. Take away any of the power of the church, control the church. Hitler eventually, and this was in the early 30s, he came to power in January of 1933. Strangely enough, Franklin Roosevelt was inaugurated in March of 1933, almost exactly the same time. their regime, we don't talk about it being a regime in America. When we elect a president, his administration lasted, both of them, 12 years. They died within a week of each other in April of 1945. So their rise to power in 32 and 33, Roosevelt was elected in November of 32. Inaugurated then in March of 32. Now they've since moved the inauguration day back to January. Hitler came to power and became chancellor, leader of Germany, in January of 33. And it's fascinating to study those two men and how they paralleled and how their paths crossed, swords crossed over the next 12 years. But Hitler, in about 33, late 33, 34, 35, started his own church. He stifled the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church in Germany. And the pastors went along with him. He started what he called the Reich Church. And he dictated to the church what you can preach and what you can't preach, what you can say and what you can't say. You never knew who in that congregation that morning was a representative, a spy for the government. And pastors were often dragged out of the pulpit and thrown in prison for what they said that morning. And tortured in prison. They also want to control the schools. One of the first things those kind of governments do, totalitarian governments, is to rewrite history and make it come out the way they want it to come out. Stalin did that in Russia in a mass scale. Rewrote all the history books. And he made the Tsar and Tsarist Russia look really bad and left out most of the references to the Tsar and his rule. That's what schools are for, I guess, is to teach people the faith and how to live life. The early church, these were people who hadn't, well, they didn't go to school, except for the Jews, the rabbinical school. It's interesting to see what the early church was really like. Who it attracted. Who do we work to attract today? Who do you hear more preaching about than any other segment of society?
The youth.
Youth? Well, yeah, but what was Paul's sermon all about this morning?
The poor.
The poor, the hungry, the needy. I was so embarrassed yesterday. We stopped in Ardmore, Oklahoma to get gas, and while I'm filling up my tank, some beat up old car pulled up to the tank over here next to me. And a lady got out of the car, walking like she's half crippled, and walked over to me and wanted to know if I'd give her some money for gas. And she had some pill bottles in her hand. She wanted to get these pill bottles refilled. And I'm really uncomfortable with that. You know, that just bothers me. She wanted me to buy, you know, basically she wanted me to buy drugs for her, I guess. But they looked like they were prescription drugs. I must look like a rich man or pushover. I get that a lot. I don't know how many times I've stopped at filling stations and have, in the process of filling up, I've had somebody stop asking me for money.
Because you look easy.
I guess so.
You have a big old sign on your car that says pastor.
I guess. Right up here, I guess. I don't know. I don't give people money, cash, because...
Did you give her gas?
No, I didn't. But she went to... my tank clicked off, and I turned around to take care of the pump, and she left. She went over to the next guy and the next guy, and I don't know if any of them helped her. When I go away, no matter what I do, whether I give them money or whether I give them gas, I usually will give them some gas at least. I go away